Hi everyone, I'm Talina Adamo, and today I'm going to talk to you about what is a Kanban board, how you can use it, and at the end of the video I'll also give you a behind the scenes look at how I use the Kanban board. So today is a sunny day. I'm in my car and I am using my Meta glasses. I usually would show you my eyes, but for the sake of forgetting my microphone at home and wanting to give you guys a good audio quality, I decided to wear my Meta glasses where you'll get a good microphone and I can deliver some information that will help you with the Kanban board method. So I personally have been using the Kanban board method to visualize my workflow. There's many different ways you can use the Kanban board, but I personally use it to limit my workflow of how much I'm going to do day to day, task by task, because what happens is I tend to have a shotgun approach with my work, which many of you can relate, where you'll start one thing, you never finish it, you'll start another thing, and before you know it, you're working on 3 or 4 different things and you never complete anything. So the Kanban board method really helps me to focus in on one task at a time or certain tasks at a time. You can do this daily. Certain tasks may take longer, which could take a few weeks or just a couple days or months. It depends on what tasks you have and what goals you're trying to reach. So it's going to vary. However, there are 3 sections in a Kanban board. A Kanban board can be a digital planner that you can do in a software program, and I don't have those because I haven't used them to provide you with the details of those, and maybe in another video in the future I'll do that. But I currently use a physical board that I have created with my hands that I have on my wall, and I will go into some examples of that next. And I had to fix a smudge on the glasses. But anyhow, okay, so there's different kinds of Kanban boards that you can use. Basically, I use sticky notes. Post-it notes are best. They have the best sticky, rarely fall off. So if you're going to go with a sticky note that you know is going to be good, go with the Post-it brand, best ever. I personally use the smaller sticky notes. They're like 1/8, or I keep forgetting the name. I'm sorry I didn't look it up, but I will post that in the details of the video as far as like the best size Post-its for you to use for this kind of task planning on the Kanban board. But you could use any size that Post-it makes, all the way up to 3x3. It just depends on how many tasks you have and what makes the most sense for you. I personally have used these like plastic clear vinyl type pieces that I was going to use for a music video. Long story short, it didn't work out. I've got all this leftover clear plastic, and they just happen to be like the right size for me to use as a Kanban board with 3 different sections. So each section on a Kanban board, usually it goes from left to right. You have 3 sections. On the left is your to-do list. In the middle is your doing or working on. And in the right side, you have your finished, done section. So as you do each task for each goal, you start it off in the doing or to-do list, and then you move it over if you're doing it to the doing section. And then when you finish with that task, you move it over. So it gives you a visualization of your tasks that you need to get done and shows you the progress and helps you visually be stimulated, if you're a visual person like I am, to see your tasks getting done and to move them to the finished section. So it's kind of it makes you feel good, especially when you have that visual need that I have. So I have been following Sarah Cannon and her HB90 method, which is a quarterly planner that has helped me take my goals and, using her planner, plan out each goal I have for each quarter. She usually does, with her method, 3 goals per quarter. So January, February, March, quarter 1, you would pick your 3 goals. She walks you through that in her planner. I highly recommend you check it out if you're into setting goals and you need some assistance with that. And she combines it with the Kanban that I also enjoy using. So learning her method and then also using the Kanban method that I've always loved, it's a really great combination. So thumbs up to the HB90 planner. If you want to check that out, go on over to Sarah Cannon's Heart Breathings and check out that planner. I think she has it on Etsy. Otherwise, you can use a Kanban in general for any types of goals that you have, and you can also do it vertically like Sarah does. She taught me how she does it from top to bottom. So same thing as left to right with the 3 sections, to do, doing, done, but vertically. So I went ahead and tried that because it does feel more pleasing for some reason to go from top to bottom for me as well. So I followed her method of top to bottom. I love that each goal is a separate, different color category. So goal 1 is whatever color you want, goal 2 is a different color, and goal 3 is a different color. So each goal that you have to do will be different color categorized based on what sticky notes you have. So you can have fun, go find out what color sticky notes you want to use, and set goals and give them a special color. So other than that, I wanted to go ahead and explain to you that the Kanban board can be set up in many ways. You can literally do it directly on your wall if you wanted to with the sticky notes. If you didn't have anything to put it on or anything fancy, you could do it directly on your wall. You could also do it on a paper or a poster board, or in some cases people like to stick it on their glass window or their sliding glass door. You can do it wherever it is possible. There's no limits. Don't limit yourself to thinking you need to do it one way or have this fancy picture frame or whatever. You could do it on cheap picture frames. You could do it on plastic. You could have, like I said, simple things that you have in your house, like a wall or a window. There is also a mirror. You could use a mirror if you wanted to. At one point, Sarah showed us how she went and bought these really cool picture frames, like really long picture frames, and that's sort of how mine is set up with my plastic vinyl that I'm using, but I have mine like pushed together, and they're kind of one piece, separated but pushed together. And I was thinking maybe in the future, if I want to try something new, I might actually go and look for some type of like picture frames or something to use to have a more like, as I don't know, aesthetically pleasing for the house. But it's so simple. You could do it any way you want. You really just got to pick what works best for you and what doesn't hold you back from getting it done. Okay, so real quick, getting back to the topic of the Kanban board and how it helps my workflow. I used to, prior to using the Kanban board method, sometimes, I mean, I was actually very productive. There were times where I would have a task and I would get it done, and I didn't have distractions or more than one thing at a time. But then I started finding myself as a mom doing like multitasking way too often and doing way too many things at once. And in this like shotgun approach, I was not getting the little tasks done that I wanted to get done and not seeing progress, and it would just be overwhelming. So this helped me to take a large project, break it down into tasks, and then make a sticky note for each task. It could be something as simple as, okay, let's say, for example, I'm writing my books. Step 1, I have to plot out the book. So I would write a sticky note that says, plot book 1. And then I would stick that in the to-do, and then when I'm ready to work on it, I would move it to the doing section. And then once I was done plotting, I would move it to the done section. And then it would be the next step. Okay, step 2. Start writing. And then I could either just leave that there on the doing section for weeks or months or however long it takes me to write a book, or I could be really intricate in detail and be like writing sprint and have like 50 sticky notes that say 30-minute writing sprints, or however many times or sprints it would take me, and how long I'd have to do the math on how I want to keep track and how long I can write, as an example, and stick that down. So instead of focusing on, oh, I'm going to write 80,000 words and just leave that there for months until it's done, I would actually have little sticky notes that would encourage me and make me feel like I'm progressing more with these visual stickies moving. Like, oh, wow, I wrote 1,000 words today. Next day, I wrote another 1,000 words today. And just have sticky notes that help me feel like I'm getting more progress, and it just makes you feel good, and it's visually enchanting. I'm a fantasy writer, so enchanting is a good word. Overall, I want to say that the Kanban board is a good method to use if you have these issues of not being focused and wanting to feel visually stimulated with progress, and, you know, giving yourself a round of applause every time you get something done. It's really a good thing to use to see after you're done with like quarter 3, let's say. 3 months have gone by, you can see how much of your goals you've actually achieved. How many did you get into the done section? How many did you not get done? Did you overplan? Did you underplan? Could you do more? Should you do less? How are you feeling about it? Do you feel overworked? It really gives you that time to assess your planning and your progress, and, you know, it lets you rethink, maybe I should do it this way next time, or really overplan this. I need to back up a little bit instead of maybe releasing a whole book in 3 months, maybe I can only get to the rough draft and maybe the second draft and maybe editing if I'm lucky. And then the next quarter will be formatting and beta readers and, you know, all the next steps that would come for that. So it's a really great tool to help you focus, to stay organized, to help you limit your workflow. You don't want to have too much in the doing section because then you become this shotgun approach again. So it's really good to limit how many you have. Like in some cases, I have a very good example of how my to-do list is actually like overflowing of like 6 to 8 different sticky notes right now. But it all makes sense in this particular situation because what I'm doing is I'm rereading a book, and while I'm rereading the book, I'm creating like a story Bible with it. I'm also coming up with like my plot points and finalizing the plot for each book. And then from there, I'm moving into plotting. So there's a lot of things in my sticky notes that are all kind of happening at the same time. So in certain cases like that, you can see after I go through this particular beginning of the video, at the end, you can watch the behind the scenes of how I'm actually using it with my writing and also my health and wellness. So there's that. That is all I think I have. So it's really up to you. And now that I've covered all the details of what a Kanban board is and why I think you should use it and how it's helpful, here's a behind the scenes. It's me just basically showing you my current Q3 setup Kanban board, and I hope you enjoy it and I hope it's helpful to you. Have a great day, you guys, and let me know if you are working on a Kanban board. Comment below, how is your Kanban board experience going? I don't know, show me some of your videos or photos if you have some. All right, guys, have a great day. Happy writing. All right, so behind me is my Kanban board. This is Q3. I'm a week in late. As planned, I didn't have time the first week for the 4th of July because I had a big event. And I didn't have time to actually reset my goals. So I've done that the past few days. Let me go ahead and flip around and show you what I'm working on. Okay, so this is a 4-goal setup. Each color is a different goal. I have my health and wellness. Although it doesn't include my children and homeschooling, that is a part of this without it being on the board, because if I actually included everything, there wouldn't be room on the board. That's why when I see that I have this much going on and I still know I have like probably double or triple the amount of yellow stickies that I'm not keeping track of here, it makes the time less reality. Like I'm not gonna have time to really do 4 goals, but sometimes if I'm having trouble writing or I get stuck where I'm not feeling well enough to do my exercise, I will take that time to maybe do something of the other goals. And I have a cat in the background, so don't mind him. He's making noise. So either way, you can see right now my sticky notes are a little, I'm kind of improvising because I usually, I mentioned in another video, I usually use these tiny sized, I think they're like 1/8 or 7/8. I don't remember the thing. I'll put that probably in a comment later once I figure out what the size is. The only problem is they don't have a lot of color options in this size. So you either have to improvise, use the 3x3 stickies or whatever other sizes they have and cut them. I'm doing mine where instead of the sticky being on top and hanging down like these, I did these sideways so they're left and right flappy. Whatever way, you could try different things to make it work for you. I mean, you could straight up use 3x3s, big stickies, but I get so many little tasks that there's not enough room to use that many stickies. It just seems wasteful when I can, you know, split one sticky up into 1 to possibly 3 or 4 little tiny cuts of a sticky note, 3x3 size. So just how I'm doing it. You guys are creative, and I'm sure you can figure out your own things that might work for you to also, you know, save space and time and money. I am doing something totally new on this side where I'm taking a lot of my health stuff and me time and everything that's in my health and wellness, and I made it like a reoccurring type sticky note where I put the sticky note to hang downward, and kind of like when you're giving away a phone number, I cut little flaps and I would put like, so for example, there's full moons, right? And I want to start practicing full moon manifesting where I journal and I set goals with the help of the moon energy to really focus on releasing or renewing or manifesting money, whatever it is. This is something I have never done. I've tried to do. I would never make the date. So this time I wrote the dates down of all the full moons. And the first one is July 10th, which happens to be today. So I'm going to probably be recording some of what I do today with the journaling and the moon and the fun stuff. If you like that woo-woo spiritual manifesting, it just depends. If you're against that, it's fine. Just skip that particular video. But I just wanted to show you, not only with that, this is going to be a reoccurring for the whole quarter. So I just kind of hung it up at the bottom of the to-do area, because although I'm going to X this off when I do it today, I still have August and September. So this is going to be hung up there for the whole quarter. Then I have these grounding, gardening ones where I need to get out, water my plants every day, and also practice being barefoot and grounding to help my health and, energize my body with electricity. So that's another thing that helps me feel better, getting sunshine as well while I'm out there, and giving this little option to every day mark off X, 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 or whatever details I can even write in. Rather than just putting an X, I can mark in watered plants or just put my feet in the grass and whatever. But I usually have to water the plants anyhow. So whatever I end up doing, could either just X it off each day or maybe put MTW, for the day of the week that I did it. And just the sky's the limit there on how I can keep track of it. This is my daily walking, which I do usually on a treadmill. And I'm just going to keep track of each time I walk, I'm trying to walk at least 5 to 7 times a week. Right now I'm getting about 4 to 5. My goal is to get 5 to 7. So I gave myself at least 6 here because I know I'm not at that level where I can walk every single day. I need a rest day sometimes. So every day I mark down how long I'm on the treadmill. Usually I do 30 minutes every day. I have been struggling to walk this week with things going on in my schedule and the kids and tantrums and whatnot. And it's been a struggling challenge, but that's how I'm keeping track this time around. I don't know if I'm going to keep doing this. This is just something I'm improvising with. Usually I would just have a little sticky note, like this little one, that would just say walk with a line, and then I would fill in 30 minutes on it. So definitely saving space on having one with these flappy things. But the only thing I don't like is that I have to keep it here rather than move it down for a whole week. So it feels like you're not progressing, but I guess kind of visually seeing the flappies getting filled in might help me, but just something I'm trying, something new. So here's some ideas for you. I have some meal prepping and planning, some strength and meditate challenges that I want to do, where instead of just walking, I'm going to add like at least 3 to 4 days where I start doing light weightlifting or aerobics or something meditational, just something that's helping me build strength in not only my body, but in my mind and my spirit as well. And then other things too, which I'm not going to go into, but I did include chores for the house, big cleaning days, because there's some days where I do nothing but cleaning and I need to have a way to feel like I'm progressing with that. Anyhow, focusing on the book writing today, this is all the blue section, which is the Willow Sister series I'm working on, working title. I'm not sure if that's going to be the final title, but that's what I've been going with for years. Until I come to some aha moment where it's a different title, that's what we're going with, the Willow Sisters. And I had to rearrange these before starting the video to make sure they were in a good order. Now, it's funny because my doing area usually should only have 1 or 2 things, right? That would make the most sense. But these are reoccurring for the week. And that's why there's so many here, okay? And then also in this particular area, there's so many because I realized that, okay, read book 1, read book 2, because it's been so long since I've actually written anything and completed plotting, because I've kind of been winging it. I have been pantsing, and I really want to be more, I don't want to plot the whole entire thing scene by scene, but I'm a plantsing. I prefer plantsing because by doing this pantsing without planning at all, I got stumped and I would just not go where I wanted to go with this story. And I kind of feel like I'm more of I just need to know what my plot points are and kind of know that. And I mean, it's still optional for me to change those down the road if I'm writing and I get another aha moment of maybe I don't want the plot to be that. but at least to get better writing results on sprints, for example, if I'm just pantsing, I tend to not always hit the mark on getting word count. And I really want to focus on, okay, I know exactly what my story is going to be, at least on the plot points. And then I'm planting, planning, free flowing on the actual sprints where I'm writing the scenes and they're just coming, from the ether of my creative mind. So, yeah, there's that. And then there's also the times where I just want to really fine tooth comb outline or do something where I'm taking a screenplay, for example, and turning that into a novel. Then it's like, okay, the story's already written. Now I'm just fine tooth combing through it and writing it like it's totally planned. So I write all 3 different ways. But this one is, it went from pantsing to now I'm planting. So I have to reread everything. But however, you'll see I have finalized the plot and writing for book 1 because I pretty much wrote book 1, but I don't have an ending and I haven't really finished plotting the ending. So I'm kind of like, I don't know what the story is going to do in the end before we move to book 2, which I already wrote a few years ago. And I'm like, I barely remember what the book has in it in detail. I have to reread book 2. And of course, if I'm going to be finalizing and writing book 1 and plotting books 1 through 3, which is my goal as well, this is all going to be tied into one. So as I'm reading, I'm going to break down what each scene is about in each book, one book at a time, and plotting it, plot points, scene cards, vision board. I'm going to try to do Notion and Scrivener and using all of these things, which are all a part of all the sticky notes here. Creating a story Bible, not only in my B6thology, but also in Notion, because I want to learn Notion and learn how to put a digital form of story Bible. And I'm kind of pushing this as a last, but that's a goal. So if I can do that, I'm going to be working on this at the same time in free time. And then I also want to go ahead and decide, am I going to do more than 3 books in this series? Do I have enough content while I'm plotting to continue plot points for books 3 through 6? And then if so, I'm going to go ahead and start plotting the plot points for 3 through 6. If I can this quarter. This might be pushed, but the goal is to get all the plotting done at least, so I know, is this going to be a 3-book series? Is this going to be a 4 or a 5 or a 6-book series? And make those final decisions. And then also learning to plot, not only in Scrivener, which I use, but also Notion. That's brand new to me, so I'm learning how to use the program itself and see if I like it. And then also, because I'm very hands-on with my scene cards, I want to also be able to come home on some points and have index cards on a plotting board on the wall, or at least a free roaming plotting board that I can sit wherever I need it. You hungry? You want Timidus? Yeah. Are you hungry too? Yeah? Okay, let's go find your food bowl. Come on. All right, there you go. Eat up. Don't be scared. The kids aren't here. You can eat. He's a scaredy cat. She runs when the kids come. Okay, quick detour, interruption. I have one little child who's just getting out of the shower, an older child who's just doing morning routine, and as you can see, they have their own morning routine board, sort of like a Kanban, but different, that they're working on, and they are avoiding their homeschool. So, while I try to do this quick video, squeezing you guys in, yeah, we've got random kids running around like crazy. Hopefully not coming in here in a shower towel. But as I was saying, I'm going to flip around again. I have a lot going on just in the to-do section because this is going to take a while getting this done, probably a week or 2. That's basically the summary of what I'm doing on my to-do list with my Kanban board for personal and my writing, and I'm working on doing a story Bible with my books for the first time, and also recording things. Like right now I'm recording my behind the scenes of the process so that I can put that on my YouTube. And then I mentioned here that I want to basically promote The Traveling Wood, which is a short story that I wrote, which is like a spin-off of the Willow Sisters, and using that to get you guys to sign up for my newsletter. So if you want to get a free short story about the main character Agnes when she's young, she has a really cute story that you should check out called The Traveling Wood. Sign up for my newsletter and I will send you a free short story just for signing up for my newsletter. And then you can stay up to date on all of my YouTube video posts any other updates on my book releases and any other exciting adventures I'm on with my storytelling. All right, so I was interrupted by my child right at the end of that video. You may or may not have picked it up. I tried to cut it out, but yeah, he came in from a shower and he was not quite, let's just say, dressed. So I had to cut that video, but I do hope that that behind the scenes was helpful to you, and I will be providing more videos like this behind the scenes of my planning. I will show you my planner and how I did my quarterly planning as well in another video. If you want to see that, go ahead and check that in the series of videos for planning. And yeah, I'll be doing a lot of stuff with plotting, planning, walking you through the whole writing process. And I've recently started a newsletter, so if you don't mind, please go ahead, subscribe to that newsletter. It's going to keep you updated on my works in progress. If you're interested in fantasy, science fiction, that's the kind of writing that I'm working on right now, with magic and worlds and all kinds of fun stuff. And as I dive into my plotting and hopefully not giving too much away, because I really can't give too much away of my story while I'm writing it before it's released, but eventually maybe I can give you some hints and tips on what my story's a little bit about to promote it for you to understand what it is. Because I do need to find readers, and I also need to find beta readers for those of you who want to get a sneak peek early of the book. I'm releasing a series, so if you're interested in that, let me know in the comments or private message me that you would love to be a beta reader for a science fiction. It's actually fantasy with some science fiction in it. Not really romance. It's a hint of it, not really. But yeah, I'll keep you updated on progress of the story, release dates. I'm hoping that I could possibly, if I do everything as I'm planning, do a release for book 1 in October for Halloween. So fingers crossed. I also wanted to tell you that if you sign up for my newsletter, I have a spin-off short story of my series called The Willow Sisters, and the spin-off, the short story, is called The Traveling Wood, and that is giving you a free short story. I think it's about 8,000 or so words that you get for free when you sign up for my newsletter. So go ahead, head over to my website, talinaadamo.com, sign up for the newsletter, and you will be directed to download your free copy of The Traveling Wood. And I hope you enjoy that story, and let me know how you think the story is. Email me back, tell me your comments, tell me your emotions, what you were feeling when you were reading it. Did you hate it? Did you love it? All feedback is welcome. I appreciate you. I hope you are doing well with your quarter 3 planning, and I hope the Kanban board method video helps you as well. Have a great day, guys.